What's up guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment, and in this video I'm going to be telling you all about the John Deere 30G Mini Excavator. So let's go ahead and jump on in and get started. I'm going to start here at the bucket. Let's talk about our coupler system. Now the type of coupler system that we're going to have on the Mini Excavators is what's called the wedge style coupler. Now this is going to be an exclusive to John Deere, and this is a one-of-a-kind system. Now what this is this is an anti-wear or a wear preventing system, meaning that you'll be able to use this system as the bucket starts to wear. So as we know here at the joints, we are going to start to get bucket wear as we get use. But the nice thing about the wedge system here is that it is on a bolt and two pins right here. So as we need to, as this bucket starts to wear here at the joint, we can actually tighten up this bolt, and we can tighten that up as far as we need to go until we meet where that wear has given. So that way you get more life out of your bucket, and you also get more life out of your coupler system. Now to remove this and to change implements, you are going to need a 24mm ratchet and socket or a 24mm wrench to simply remove this bolt. This is also going to be how we are going to tighten up that wedge as we get wear here on the bucket and the coupler system itself. Now let's talk a little bit here about the boom itself, starting with the amount of grease points that are going to be on this boom. We are going to have 15 grease zerks all the way from the bucket to the machine. So those are points that we need to be hitting daily if we're using this machine daily, or hitting these as often as possible if we're working this machine hard. But just make sure and know that at every point that you see a pin, there is going to be a grease point there. There's going to be a grease zerk either on the underside where the rod of the cylinder connects to that pin, or on one side or the other that goes directly into that pin and then disperses that grease. But another interesting thing here is that you kind of have a fail-safe or an insurance on this machine that is going to be the type of bushings that are used at these pins. So at each one of these pins, each one of these joints, you are going to have an oil impregnated bushing. Now this is something that you may not have ever heard of. I had never heard of it until we got to studying about these machines, but these are a very interesting type of bushing that are actually porous and are actually made to help self-lubricate whenever things get hot in situations where maybe we have forgotten to grease one of these points. So those bushings that are around those pins and in each one of these joints are porous, and they have a little bit of oil built into them to where if things get hot, they will start to secrete that oil to help lubricate things, to keep you in good shape until you remember, hey, I need to grease this thing. So that is a very unique thing to this from John Deere. Now another unique thing to John Deere on these machines is that right here at our knuckle, from our boom to our dipper stick or to our arm here, right here is what we call a V-plate. Now this is going to be made out of 1-inch steel plate here. Now why this is specific to John Deere is that a lot of people are going to use cast iron. It's a little bit cheaper. It is heavier, but it's also going to be a lot more brittle, whereas the steel plate here is a little bit more expensive, but it is going to hold up better and have a lot better wear life to it. So this is not only used here, but it is also going to be used at our main joint, which I'll talk about a little bit more here in a minute. Now, another thing about this boom is that we are going to have the addition of the auxiliary hydraulic ports here. That way, if we want to add hydraulics, we can add this on either side of the dipper stick here. We've got one here and then one on the other side. We're also already going to have the made-in bracket for the thumb or clamp. So if you want to add that, that is already in place here as well. Now, another thing that you are going to have standard on this machine is you are going to have a working auxiliary light here. And then you're also going to have a wear guard right here in front of our cylinder for our boom. Now, almost every manufacturer is going to have some sort of wear guard here on the cylinder for the boom to make sure and protect that, as this is the one that we may run into the most trouble, being is that it's on the bottom. If we happen to scoop up material, hit into that cylinder, or we lower this all the way down whenever we're digging, we could possibly damage that. But not only do we have a guard here, but you'll see that there's an extra welded plate here on the bottom that's in a V shape, just to give even more protection, where the damage is going to hit here on the V first before it ever got to our initial plate right here. Now continuing here about the boom, right here at our main junction where our boom meets the machine, two special things. One of them I've already talked about, which is going to be the plating that is used right here on the top and the bottom. That is going to be that 1-inch steel plate rather than cast iron. The other thing that is unique here to the John Deere design is that you're going to have one single pin that goes from top to bottom. What this is going to do is this is going to reduce wear. It's going to be one less item that you have to worry about. It's also going to make for a stronger joint having that single pin rather than like a lot of manufacturers having that dual pin system. Now also right here on the 30G, as you can see, we are going to have the blade here in the front. Now this is going to be great for back dragging or pushing material whenever we're filling back what we've dug. This is also going to be used for stability. So whenever we're in the machine or set up for digging, we can use this blade to penetrate the ground just a little bit to give us a little more solid structure whenever we're talking about being in those situations where we're maybe on a slope or a hillside or something that may just be a muddy or slippery situation. So nice front blade system here. This can be raised up or down. You'll also see that in some models above the 30G, this can also be turned into an angle blade as well. Now this one here is only going to have the up and down function, but just keep that in mind if you're looking into this machine and an angle blade is something that you're looking for, we may want to look just a tick above this one. Now while we're on the outside and we are over here on the left-hand side of the machine, a few more things that I want to point out. One is our tie down. So here on our blade, we're going to have a tie down on each side, the left and right hand side. And then we're also going to have a tie down right here at the back of our track. We'll have this on the left hand and the right hand side as well. Then we'll also have another tie down at the rear right here underneath on our actual X frame that goes underneath the machine. Now over here on the left hand side, along with our tie down points, we're also going to have a pop out right here. So this is easily pulled out. Now what this is this is going to be a single bolt here that's going to be the same size as what you have on your wedge lock system, which is going to be that 24 millimeter. And what this is going to do is change your hydraulics on the auxiliary if we have them hooked up to either a single stage hydraulic or a dual stage. So a single stage meaning if we were only using an attachment that needed hydraulic flow going one way, or if we had an attachment that needed it both ways going in and out, then we could turn this bolt right here to change that. And it actually has a sticker right here below it to let you know which way to turn that bolt, how it should be sitting for those two different functions. Now we're also going to have some familiar things here. If we're familiar with the skid steer lineup from John Deere, this will look very familiar to you. If not, some things that we'll have here is on our track system, we're going to have a sloped style track system here on top. That's going to help to remove debris, keep that from building up on the tracks. And then right here in the middle, we are going to have our track tension system. As you can see, we have a Zerk right inside there where we can simply hook up a grease gun and we can adjust the tension of our tracks. As we add grease, it's going to start to push these ends out and be able to adjust that track slag. So that is something that we definitely want to check from time to time, and right there, just very easy to adjust that. Now, talking about the tracks themselves, you are going to have 3 different options of tracks whenever coming to this machine. Right here, this is going to be the most common as our rubber track system. You're also going to have the option of getting into a metal track system, and you have the option of getting into a rubber pad style system. And what's nice about those is it is a crawler pad, and then that way you can change out the individual lugs as they wear. So these are going to be some of the options that come in these excavators on the track system. Now also over here on the left hand side is going to be where our entry door is. One nice thing about this is it is going to be lockable here with a key, and then also if we're working in this machine and it happens to be one of those days where we need this door open for communication purposes or maybe just for airflow, this window is not going to have a slide to it, neither is the bottom one here. But what you can do is open this door all the way up, and then you'll see that it has a hooking system right here where we can actually hook this door into place just like so. And then to release that door, we're going to have a little black lever right here, right at the opening, where we're just going to push that down and that will release that door back open. So nice feature there. So next thing to talk about is going to be the actual entry point of the machine. You're actually going to see a little bit of a step here, a lowered section right here, making it not as far of a step going up to the main floorboard right here. That is a nice feature. You're also going to see a gripping texture right here on this outside shell to make sure whenever you are making that step up and in, you have a nice grip platform, along with 2 sets of handholds here on the outside. And then we're also going to have one up top if you need that. And then once we get in and up, we can grab across to our far hand lever there or onto the seat in multiple different places, but it does make for easy entry into this machine. Now, before we get up and into the operator station, let's show you these service hatch points. This is going to be our entry points to be able to get to our different service points. Right here at the back is going to be our engine hatch, so we can raise this up. Now, all of these hatches are going to have a lock on the handle. So if these are going to be left out on a job site or out on your property somewhere where that isn't going to have good surveillance, then you can lock all of these hatches. That way nobody can be stealing your fluids or messing with things on your machine that don't need to be messed with. Now, here at the back, some of the service points that we're going to have, for one, is going to be our air filter. We're also going to have our engine oil filter right down here. Right to the left of that engine oil filter is going to be your oil dipstick. To the left and below of that is going to be your inline fuel filter. Up here above is going to be our primary fuel filter. And then right below our air filter here and our dust clean out that's on our air filter is going to be our oil fill for whenever we do those oil changes on this machine. Now, moving over here to the right hand side, we are going to have two panels over here. I'm going to start with the one closest to the front. This is going to have a push lock here. We simply push in on that button, raise this up, that'll lock into place. Now, what we're going to find under this panel is going to be our diesel fill. We're also going to have our hydraulic fill here. Now, one thing about the diesel fill here is this is not going to have a tethered lid on it, but this is going to have a screen here right underneath the cap that we need to be checking from time to time. This is going to be a large particle screen. As you saw, we do already have three. We've seen two of them, but we have three fuel filters on this machine already. But we have a large particle strainer here on the cap that we need to be checking from time to time whenever we go to add that diesel in. But you got to be careful not to lose that lid since it's not tethered on. But you are going to have an 11.1 gallon fuel tank on this machine. And then whenever we go to check our hydraulic fluid, that is going to be right over here, right below this panel. We have a sight gauge right here telling us how much hydraulic fluid we have in the machine. And then our last hatch is over here on the right hand rear side of the machine. Once again, we have that lockable handle. This is going to swing all the way open. Now, what we're going to have here is going to be, for one, we're going to have our cooling system reservoir where we can see what our cooling levels are at. We're also going to have our battery, which is going to be underneath this shield here, nice and protected there. Then we're also going to have our water separator filter here and our fuel shutoff switch. So another good way to prevent any type of theft on these machines is once you get done and you have shut this thing down, you have locked everything up, another good thing you could do is turn the fuel off, because if somebody breaks into these locks on each one of these machines and opens everything up, you may still be able to deter them by going ahead and shutting off the fuel right here. So just make sure and know where that's at. You're also going to have your cooling elements here, so you can make sure to maintenance those, blow those things out as well. Now, after doing all this talk about maintenance and showing all of these maintenance points, some of the questions are often, well, when do I need to do these types of things and what are my capacities for these types of fluids? Well, good thing is that on this 30G right here on the back glass, made on with a really nice sticker, very well laid out display here, you are going to have all that information of when to do these things, what your fluid capacities are, and what types of fluids you should be using in this machine, all right here on one convenient sticker that you cannot lose. And last but not least, let's talk about the operator station. This is the place that everybody wants to see about, hear about, see this thing in action. So let's talk about a few things here from the outside, then I'll get inside and show you a little bit more. First thing we talk about here is going to be this red lever that you see that's right in your face as soon as you open the door. This is going to be what's called our pilot lever. So whenever it is up like this, we have a sticker right here that shows that this is in the locked position. What this does is lock out all of the machine's hydraulics and driving functions until we lower this down and put this into place. So once we do that, you can see that this control lever is in line with the other one, making this machine fully operational. So to start the machine, we have to be in the up position, and then once we have it started, we can move this back down, and then we are in the full driving and digging mode. Now, once we have that down and in place and we are ready to move this machine, you'll see that we have two pedals right down here at the bottom that are also going to be connected to these hand levers. These are going to be what drives our machine forward or backward. Each one of these levers is going to be an independent control to the left hand and right hand track. So we can either use our pedals here, push down for backwards, front for forwards, or we can use these handles. Whichever one you are more comfortable with, you can use those. Now, as we can see, they are going to be on these flip up pedals, so once we have gotten to where we need to be, we can actually flip those up. Then that gives us more foot room here for the actual driving part of this machine. Now, whenever we're talking about the swivel of our boom, being able to pivot it to the left or to the right, we have a pedal over here on the floor to the right, to the inside of the machine. That is going to be a side-to-side pedal that we can push on that is going to actually pivot our boom here. Now, also what you can see here on the inside of this machine is you're going to have 3 foot vents right here that will help to keep your legs and feet warm or cool depending on that situation. You're also going to have a fill cap all the way over there on the inside. That is going to be for your windshield washer fluid. And then lastly, you're going to see a little door over here on the inside. This is where we are going to need to get whenever we are adding in those auxiliary hydraulic functions right there. And then we're also going to have a cup holder right above that. Now, also one thing that we're going to see as soon as we get in is going to be this lock box here. What this is behind this door is going to be our lever to change the controls of our 2 main digging handles here into either backhoe mode or excavator mode. Now, it is specified on a sticker up on the window to the right of the operator station of what those patterns consist of and how they function. So if you're used to one over the other, just know that you can change that, but you are going to need your key to unlock this box, and then you'll have to flip that lever to be able to change those functions here at our main operating joysticks. Now, you're also going to have an adjustable seat here, so we have a lever that raises up to be able to bring this seat fore and aft, and then we also have a weight adjustment knob on this seat for the suspension system, so we can simply turn this knob one way or the other to either let it down or add suspension to it depending on the weight of the operator. So very nice feature there, as these machines can be bumpy whenever we are transporting them across the work site. Now, once we go ahead and get into the operator station, first thing that we want to check out is the visibility within this cab. We have great visibility out of the front, the top, and from side to side. Just overall a great view. The window panel down here at the bottom is great to be able to see that blade and also our lower digging surfaces. But other than that, let's go ahead and start this machine up. So over here to my right, we'll go ahead and go over the controls. We have our key right here in the off position. So we have an on position and then of course a start position. Now, right back behind our key is going to be our heating and air conditioning controls right back here. Very easy there. Then right here back behind my right hand control lever, we're going to have our light switch, our windshield wiper switch, our fast acceleration and slow acceleration switch here, so our rabbit and turtle. Then we're going to have an open port here to be able to add a 4th function switch. So there are multiple different things that we could add into this machine, but right here we are going to have that opening. Then we are going to have our throttle knob up here to the right of that. So right here is where we can adjust our throttle. Then we are going to have our blade up and down lever right here. This is going to be our blade up and down. And then we have our monitor up here at the front. Now, this is going to show our engine temperature, our fuel, the time. We're also going to have our auto idle switch and our power and economy mode switch. Now, these are both 2 really nice features to that Yanmar engine that is going to allow this machine to auto idle whenever we have not been using the hydraulics for a matter of, I think, 5 to 10 seconds. It will go into that auto idle to help save fuel. Then we also have our power mode, which is going to give full power to the machine the whole time whenever we are digging or doing those functions. So in the means that we need that full power, we can put this in power mode, or if we're transporting or doing light work, we can move to the economy mode, and this is just going to help with fuel consumption on the machine itself. Now, to the right of that, we are going to have a standard alarm off switch here. Now, this is going to be for the beeper. So whenever we are in transport mode, whether we're going forward or backward, because in these machines, it could be both or either at the same time. So if we are using that and that is getting on your nerves, as well as everybody else around you, you can turn that off with this switch. And then right below that, we're going to have 2 additional open ports here for 2 more additional switches. So there is a numerous amount of things that we can add to this machine as far as attachments goes. And now you've seen that you have 3 different ports here to add those extra switches. Now we're also going to have windows over here on the right that open up all the way. They're going to open up either from the front or the rear, just like so. And then also our front glass here is actually going to raise all the way up. We simply pull on these two levers and then raise up on this glass, and this will lock up and out of the way just like that. So this is going to be one of our emergency exits along with the door. And then also, if you need to, you can actually pull up on this rear glass and remove it as well to get it out of the way for whatever those situations may be that you do not want that front glass here. If we're working in a situation where we're going to have a lot of debris coming back on us, then we probably want these down. If we're working in an easy situation, or maybe we're in a situation where we are worried for the life of this glass and just want to get it out of the way, just know that you can move this glass out of the way of this machine. So then to lower this, we're just going to pull back on our levers, let that come back down, lock that up and into place just like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn the machine on. I'm going to go ahead and drop down my pilot lever here. I'm going to go ahead and kick down my two pedals here for the driving function. First thing I'm going to do is raise up my boom. So this is going to be with the left hand side joystick. I'm going to raise up on my boom. So the boom is going to be the lower portion here that is closest to the machine. Now I want to curl my arm. So how I'm going to do that is I am going to pull back on my right hand joystick. Now the arm is the part out there that connects to the bucket. So just in case you're not familiar with these terms, that's going to be the arm, or some people call this the dipper stick. But right there with our right hand lever is where we're going to actuate the arm. And then to curl or release the bucket here, we are going to go left to right with our right hand joystick. So curling it, pushing it out, that's going to be with our right hand joystick. And then if we need to go left to right as far as swiveling the machine itself or swiveling the cab, that's going to be with our left hand joystick. So we are going to swivel to the left just like that, or swivel back to the right, all with the left to right on our joystick. Now, like I was talking about before, if we want to pivot just the boom itself, we have the switch down here on the floor to the right of our driving pedals, where we can push this to go to the left, just moving the boom, or we can push on the other side here going to the right, once again just moving that boom. Now, if we want to raise or lower our front blade, like I said, that's going to be this lever over here to the right, so I'm going to raise that up. We want to make sure that anytime we're transporting this machine, we have this raised up and out of the way. And then now if we want to move with this machine, this is where our levers here or our pedals come into play. So if I want to go forward, I'm simply going to push forward on both of these levers here. And then if I want to go in reverse, I'm simply going to pull back on both. And then if we want to turn, this is going to be a lot like if we are used to a zero turn or a skid steer, any of those other things. We would set these in opposite motion here to turn. If we want to go to the left, we push our right stick forward. If we want to go to the right, we push our left stick forward. And then to back up, like I said, we would just back up here with both levers. Now, like I said, we can also do this with our feet. So we can push back here with our feet, doing either one of those things, pulling back just like that. And once we were set in place, we could simply put those up. Then we could adjust our joystick here, or adjust our boom and arm here. Get that out into place wherever we may want that. Get that set out, and then we are ready to dig. Now, last but not least, let's talk about dimensions, some specs, warranty, and price. So as far as dimensions goes, we all know, if we've done any type of looking at any of these excavators before, there are a ton of dimensions. So I'm going to pop them up right here and give you a second to pause this video if you need to check any of these out or take a screenshot. But here are all of the dimensions on this machine. Now, really one of the only specs that I want to hit on is going to be at the engine, where I did not mention this is going to be a 23 horsepower engine. Now, a lot of people will get confused whenever they see the model number here and think that this is a 30 horsepower engine on this machine. But actually what this is going to stand for on these mini excavators is 3.0 metric tons of force. So that is the type of force that this machine can put out. So whenever you see a 17G, that's 1.7 metric tons. or whether you see a 35G, that is going to be 3.5 metric tons. This is talking about the force that this machine is going to put out. Now, another question that gets asked a lot is going to be on lifting capacity. So right here is going to be where the lifting chart is on these machines. There are so many variables, but you'll see that this is on a sticker on the right hand side of the operator station inside the cab. So if you're looking for lifting capacities, this is the chart that you want to reference because of all the different variables that could be with this machine. Now, whenever we're talking about warranty on these machines, these are going to have a 2-year, 2,000-hour warranty. That's going to be a bumper-to-bumper warranty that covers everything except for your normal wear items. Now, also, lastly, whenever we're talking about price on this machine, we are looking right around the $62,000 range, but remember, that is going to be list price. So based off of what incentives might be going on right now, what kind of deals might be out there for this equipment, whether you get one that's a couple of years older or if you get a brand new one, all of this can vary into what the price of this machine is. So if you are looking for one of these machines, make sure to hit up your local John Deere dealer to get an actual sale price. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, if you're needing any John Deere parts at all, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Woo! That was a long one, boys. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.